Dr. Oz, good morning. Good to have you here. Let's start where that piece left off. You say the word doctor is up in the corner of the graphics intentionally. Oz is in the center. But the word doctor precedes your name. You often wear scrubs on the show, and people trust what you say because you are a medical doctor. Have you upheld that trust over the years on your program?
Without question, I have, and I'm very proud of what we've done on the show. The reality, Matt, is it's much broader than a medical lecture series. People don't want to sit there and be hounded about information that's irrelevant to their lives. At least they may perceive it's irrelevant. It's about celebrating life and getting to them where they live.
But do you think when a doctor becomes the host of a television show that he or she deserves a certain leeway and can do and say things on the air that perhaps you wouldn't do or say in private practice?
It's much broader than what a doctor might speak about in his own practice, because on the show, I'm going to embrace, as an example, unconventional approaches. I might have someone talking about prayer. I may travel to other parts of the world to show how people find wellness in China. But, Matt, I've always done that. My whole life has been about pushing boundaries, looking around the corner, both high-tech solutions, but also some low-tech approaches. And I think people have to get comfortable. In America, that's where the conversation's moving.
This is the way you position it, and what you just said is a good example of that. You tend to position yourself as a crusader for your viewers and their good health, and the little guy taking on the big guys. But these doctors are positioning you very differently. They're saying you're careless and reckless as a doctor, and you could be endangering the health of those viewers.
Well, to be clear, there are different types of attacks that come out there. Some have agendas. The ones that I dealt with last week and on my show yesterday had to do with folks who had clear GMO biases. I think they were unfair in not wanting us to have that conversation. The ones that my colleagues said yesterday, listen, I'm very proud to have that kind of feedback, but here's the reality, Matt. When I talk about hardcore medical issues, which I do, I mean, it is a medical show and that I do cover those topics, but it's much broader than that. Hardcore medical topics, we're all buttoned up. We've got a wonderful medical unit, well-staffed. But I have to go beyond that, Matt, because health is not always found in a doctor's office. Nutrition is a good example.
But, Dr. Oz, when you use words like breakthrough and radical and miracle to describe products or processes on your show, does the doctor in you ever cringe at what the talk show host in you is saying?
I'm proud of all of those words. There's only one time that I have not been proud, and that's an understandable frustration that's been expressed about weight loss supplements, which I wish I could take back the words I said about them. This is a flawed area with lots of fraud, both in the research and in the products, and we no longer talk about those. I haven't talked about them in a year. And so many Americans think I'm all about those fake ads coming into their spam folders. That's not who I am. What I'm trying to do is help people understand their bodies better so they can become the world expert in those bodies. So when they go to talk to their doctor, this is important, Matt, that conversation is supported. It's not supposed to be hindered. I hear from viewers and doctors all the time about how we have helped make that conversation easier for them, because there are themes in America that we don't associate with health that are fundamental to us. As a good example, the nutrients we put in our body. That has to be a forefront of the conversation on my show.
Going back to this criticism coming now from your fellow faculty members at Columbia, here's a quote from what they said. Quote, "Many of us are spending a significant amount of our clinical time debunking Ozisms regarding metabolism game changers. Irrespective of the underlying motives, this unsubstantiated medicine sullies the reputation of Columbia University and undermines the trust that is essential to physician-patient relationships." Sullying the reputation of the university. That's very strong stuff.
It's actually, I'm appreciative that they also in that same letter applauded so many of the things that we do. Matt, you're not going to please everyone. That's not my goal. My job is to help America understand the opportunity towards health. There are going to be times when I'm going to discuss topics where we just don't have all the information yet. Other times we're going to be extraordinarily targeted because we have a truly new breakthrough on health. Both of those are going to happen on my show. The show has to be much broader than what might take place in a doctor's office. And Matt, I completely respect why so many of my colleagues might have a difficulty with that, but I'm also appreciative that many of them do understand why that's important.
And if more and more doctor, come out and criticize you, can you survive this? Can your show survive this?
Without question, the show will survive it. I expect my colleagues, this is an important topic, to come out there. And we are hearing from many, some critical, some supportive. The goal for all of us, though, has got to get it has to be focused on people who need our help, allowing Americans to understand what they could be so they can show up in their own lives. I'm not at all worried about these ideas. I expect them to continue to be discussed, and I'm celebrating on our show, our 1000th episode next year. I want to keep doing this show for as long as I can because I think we play an important role in making America a better place.
Mehmet Oz, good of you to come in and talk about it in person, Doc. Thanks very much.